welcome to the January 6, 2015 Chino City Council meeting. We're privileged tonight to help us lead in the flag salute to have the Don Lugo High School ROTC Color Guard. If you'd all please rise and join me in the flag salute. Oh, that flag, I got two flags. Trying to confuse me? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's give them a round of applause. Folks, have a seat. Under ceremonials, we have Human Trafficking Awareness Day, January 25th, 2015. We'd like to call up Maria Rivera to a presentation. Maria, how are you? Welcome.
Thank you very much.
The proclamation reads, whereas the freedom and security that is sought by the citizens of Chino, California, are the trust given to its governing body. And whereas human trafficking and the damage inflicted on its victims cannot exist in a free society. Whereas decisive steps, strengthened policies and laws are needed to make offenders accountable to increase the safety of our citizens and restore freedom and dignity for its victims by focusing upon assistance from our law enforcement, educational and healthcare systems, as well as service club and faith-based communities. And whereas the citizens of Chino support resources that will educate, identify, and report these crimes, sending an unwavering message to anyone who may attempt to profit from human trafficking. And whereas Chino residents join the nation in support of Human Trafficking Awareness Day on January 25th, 2015, and to support all agencies in this fight. Now, therefore, I, Dennis Yates, Mayor of the City of Chino, do hereby proclaim January 25th, 2015 as Human Trafficking Awareness Day in the City of Chino. I'd like to present this to you.
Thank you very much.
Say a few words.
Hello, everybody. My name is Maria Rivera, and I'm a Vice President of Services with Soroptimist International of Chino Hills. Human trafficking is a form of modern-day slavery where people profit from exploitation and control of others. Human trafficking is a $9.5 billion industry in the United States per year. Every pimp can profit $150,000 to $200,000 per year per child. 1 every 3 teenagers can be lured into prostitution within first 48 hours of running away from home. 300,000 children in the United States each year are in danger of being trafficked. No matter what race or nationality or socioeconomic background that you're coming from, we are not completely protected from the dangers of human trafficking. And this is why we as a community need to educate ourselves and especially our children, because the average age of a child lured into sex trade is 11 to 14 years old. We need to educate our children about human trafficking the same way we educate them about drugs. So we are very grateful that our city supports us every year, because this upcoming walk is going to be the 6th annual walk, and our incredible Chino PD who always stand by us, and especially now our newly elected Karen, who is our fellow Soroptimist. She is the new chief of police, which is so incredible because she is a woman and a Soroptimist. So we are very grateful that we have a community that supports us all the way. Thank you very much.
I know when this started 6 years ago, there wasn't much state legislation against this. And, but just in the recent 2 to 3 years, there's several bills passed in the state assembly and signed by the governor against human trafficking. So you're making progress by continuing to keep this in the people's mind.
I hope so.
You're doing a great job, Maria. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Folks? Next is Mayor's Home Beautification Award for January 2015. And the winner is, drum roll. Thank you. Angie Jones on Geranium Street. Is Angie here? Come on up, Angie. You can see on the television that there's, right here, Angie. Yeah, we got a picture of your house. And we'd like to present this picture to you. We have a certificate. And the certificate reads, "Thank you for the continued improvement and maintenance of your home, resulting in a substantial contribution to the overall appearance of our community." We'd like to present that to you. We got all kinds of goodies. And we have a lapel pin official to give you. A pen and pencil set. And this one you're going to love. We'd like you to put this in your yard. Isn't that nice? What we do at the end of the year, we'll select one of the homes selected in the 12-month period, and the winner will invite them to the Mayor's State of the City luncheon and give you a little extra incentive. So we'll have to give you some help. So who does the maintenance on your yard and all that?
It's kind of a long story. Used to be all me,
Yeah?
and then I needed some help, so I ended up getting some help, but I'm still in there.
You're still in charge.
I'm still in
Well,
charge.
you're doing a great job. You have a beautiful home.
Oh, thank you.
Keep up the good work, and
Thanks.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's give her a big hand. Great home. I'll help you carry this over here. Public servant. There you go. Next on the agenda is public communications. This is the time and the place for the general public to address the City Council on items not listed on the agenda. The Brown Act and the council policy prohibits us doing anything that's not posted on the agenda. Before I start with the written requests that I have, the students that are here, we have a tradition here at the Chino City Council meeting, plus we got police to make you do it. So if you'll line up, give us your name, your teacher, and your class that is requiring you to be here. So if you'll line up, all the students.
In the front?
At the podium, at the microphone. There you go.
Hello, my name is Carlina. I'm from Ayala High School from Mr. Allen's class for government.
Nice to be here.
Thank you.
My name is Eric Mendoza. I'm from Mr. Allen's class, and it's for government too.
Welcome.
My name is Taylor Rowland, and I'm from Ayala for Mr. Allen's government class.
Welcome.
My name is Philip Afia. I'm here from Mr. Allen's class, and I'm in government too, from Ayala.
I'm Alec Vance Kindle. I'm in Mr. Allen's class, CP Government from Ayala.
I'm Abby Hickerson, also from Ayala from Mr. Allen's government class.
Welcome.
I'm Josh Arbalo. I'm from Ayala, and I'm in Mr. Allen's government class.
Thanks for being here, Josh.
I'm Aaron Duran. I'm here from Ayala from Mr. Allen's government class.
Welcome.
I'm Oceano Marshall, a student of Mr. Allen's at Ayala.
I'm Calvin Garcia, and I'm also from Mr. Allen's class from Ayala.
Welcome, Calvin.
I'm Shelly from Ayala, and I'm in Mr. Allen's government class.
Welcome.
I'm Mal Mendoza, but I'm actually here for citizenship in the community for Boy Scouts Pride Badge.
Oh, welcome.
I'm Catherine Aguilar. I'm from Upland High School, and I'm for Mrs. Glenn's government class.
Upland?
Yes.
You're getting...
I'm Art Garcia, and I'm here for Miss Glenn's government class too at Upland High.
Oh, really?
I'm Priscilla Beltran from Upland High School, also from Miss Glenn's
Huh,
class.
that's a first. We've never had Upland before. We've had Ontario Christian and, yeah, this is the easy credit, right? Go ahead, dear.
I'm Jacinda Esqueda from Upland High School and Miss Glenn's government class.
Welcome.
I'm Chris Lee. I'm from Ayala, and I'm here for Mr. Allen's government class.
All right, well, welcome you guys. I hope you picked up some information about local government. I have 3 requests to speak. I'd like to call up Sylvia Roscoe from the Chino Unified School District. She's our new liaison person representing the school district. Welcome, Sylvia.
Hello, good evening, Council and Mayor. And you just stole my thunder. That's what I was here to share, that I'm the new liaison for the school district. And so if there's anything that I can help you with or serve, just let me know. Contact me.
Congratulations.
So you'll be seeing me at the meetings.
Congratulations on your reelection. You did very well. Next, Melissa Campani from our new supervisor, Kurt Hagman's office.
Good evening, City Council and Mayor Yates. My name is Melissa Campani, and that's what I'm here to announce also, that I am here with Supervisor Hagman's office, our new county supervisor, and I'm thrilled to be here and looking forward to working with you. Our office is open. We are ready, waiting on our business cards, and we'd love to help with any issues that we can work together on. So
Just
thank you.
tell Kurt to bring money.
Okay, we'll tell him. I'll give him that personal message.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here. We look forward to working with you. Mr. Bob Hobbs, you have 2 items on your request.
Yes.
Why don't you just speak on the truck traffic, and I'll call you back up for item 12. Okay?
I'm Bob Hobbs, and I'm not in a government class.
Should you be?
I think I passed that a while ago.
Okay.
No, I'm here, I just wanted to address the council, and I don't know if you're aware or if you've even thought about, or if others have, this police department maybe, but the truck traffic around the Spectrum going on Edison both directions is pretty heavy, and the streets are taking a beating, and we've seen a lot of near-miss collisions and accidents along there. We eat there usually lunchtime in that area. We go to Walmart and the other stores. So there's a lot of heavy truck traffic going back and forth in there. I think it's something we need to look at, maybe, if you would, at maybe, I know that the on-ramp to the 71 is where they're headed, but they could go on at other locations. And with the additional construction of more industrial or warehouse-type buildings, the traffic's increasing. Also, at, I believe it's Kimball and Euclid, they're tearing up, the curb is broken up on there because they can't make the turn to go there. So our planning department needs to think of these kind of things, I think, when they're planning these massive structures. And some of the ones they're building right now, they're on the old prison land. The truck traffic's going to be extremely increased. So if you look at the road there at Edison and Euclid, there's big divots where the trucks stop on eastbound on Kimball especially, when they get to Edison. I'm sorry, Euclid, when they get to Euclid. So it's something I would ask you guys to just kind of take a look at.
Well, all of that area is under preview as the homes start working their way toward Euclid. The development impact fees will kick in. That's when they start working on all those intersections, right, Jose? So it's a matter of time and patience that we're aware of all the items you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
So all it takes is money.
Yeah, well, I think what I would like to see possibly is, when you did stop the truck traffic on Schaefer,
right,
from Mountain to whatever it was along those neighborhoods, I think around the Spectrum, we need to have a no truck traffic, because
that may be a tough trick with all those on and off ramps there with the 71.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of other opportunities for them to go north or south on Euclid, or east and west on other streets, to get there. So, thank you.
Well, we appreciate your input, Mr. Hobbs. Thank you. That's all the written requests I have. Anybody in the audience wishing to address the council on any item that does not appear on the agenda can do so now. Seeing none, we'll close public communications. Next is consent calendar. Anybody wishing to pull item for discussion may do so now. I have a motion by Councilmember Duncan, seconded by Councilmember Elrod. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Next, under public hearings, item 12, Mr. Hobbs, the certification of the Chino RV Storage Facility Final Environmental Impact Report. And our staff report this evening is by our Director of Community Development, Mr. Nicholas Ligori. Mr. Ligori?
Thank you, Mayor and council members. The applicant, RV Storage Associates, is requesting certification of an environmental impact report and approval of a general plan amendment and East Chino specific plan amendment to allow for future development of an RV storage facility at the site located at the northwest corner of Mountain and Edison Avenues. The proposed amendments would change the land use designation of the property from open space to light industrial and allow for RV storage as a conditionally permitted use within that area. The Planning Commission has reviewed the proposed amendments and unanimously recommended approval to the council. This application was previously heard by the council in 2012. At that time, issues were raised by Mr. Corey Briggs representing the Inland Oversight Committee and Creed 21 regarding the adequacy of the environmental analysis that was prepared for the project, which was a mitigated negative declaration. The applicant decided at that time to halt the process and prepare an environmental impact report for the project in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA. The EIR, prepared by LSA Associates, analyzes potential impacts from the project in 4 different areas: aesthetics, hazards and hazardous materials, land use planning, and traffic. Studies conclude that with certain mitigation incorporated, the project will not have a significant impact in any of these areas. Specifically, in regard to the potential impacts associated with the storage of RVs within a transmission line easement, staff is requiring compliance with all aspects of the California Fire Code and the Chino Valley Independent Fire District storage requirements. The Fire District has reviewed this project. Staff has also reviewed the proposed development plan for the property, which will require approval by the Planning Commission at a later date. Staff today received an email from Mr. Briggs, again recommending that the council not certify the EIR or approve the project on the grounds that would violate CEQA. Staff has reviewed the letter and believes that the assertions made by Mr. Briggs are not correct and that the EIR and the project meet all requirements of state and local law. So staff therefore recommends that the City Council approve the project by taking the actions noted in the staff report. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Ligori. Prior to council questions or comments, I'll open this with a public hearing. I have a written request from Mr. Bob Hobbs again. Mr. Hobbs? You're reminded you have 5 minutes. I forgot to tell you last time.
All right, thank you for hearing my comments. But number one, SDM is my company, and we're the building directly north to where this project will be. The facility, there's large Edison power structures. Some of them have just been installed. While they were in there doing that, they needed a lot of space to get in there and do that. Large equipment. So if they start doing this again, moving around and all that, I'm sure there's going to be some impact on the storage of those people where they have to move those out of the way to get in there. But I think it's an inappropriate location because you've just put in a huge development, College Park, with great monument structures, beautification. You're putting parkways and all kinds of decorative landscape along Edison across from this, where this would be located. Unless they're going to build fences, something to block the view of these RVs. Some of them are 15, 20 feet high, I think, estimated.
It better not be 20 feet. It'll be looking on a freeway.
15, well, they're 15 feet or close, okay? So my point is that with their air conditioners and all this, you're going to see that above a normal fence line. So as I live in the area, just half a mile east, and I'm not really excited about seeing the RV storage in that area with all the improvements that's been done. We already have all the visual power line ugliness. I know that some of you council members are, against zoning change up at the northern part of the city, where they're talking about higher density housing versus low density. I would like you to consider the same thing for the people who live at this end of town. Right now, the people who own the property are not properly maintaining the landscape. The plants are dead, the trees have died. There's sofas, chairs, other things dumped in the area, and they're not maintaining it and keeping it up. So I'm not too comfortable with the fact that they'll do so after the facility's built. We've been at that location since 2004, so I have a lot of experience looking out the windows and driving by and seeing the conditions there. Okay, another problem is the address for this facility has to be appropriate, because our building is 13948, the building behind, a large building, 13950 Mountain. You cannot access 13950 through 13948. We've actually had semi-trucks go through our driveway over the landscaping to get to that building behind us. We've worked with the property owner and the property management company to put signage, and they have never done anything. So we always have trucks pulling in and backing out of our driveway, trying to find and reach 13950. So I've brought this to the planning or codes or whatever attention about that address being that way. So if you're now going to put the RV facility at the corner, what's the address going to be? Because if the address is Mountain and there's entrance off Mountain, okay, that's going to work. But if it's not, we're going to have people lost again. They don't have access from Mountain to get to the facility. Also, I'm recommending that the access not be on Mountain, because you're going to have large vehicles pulling in and out, and that street has become very, very fast-paced. I don't know if our law enforcement's aware of it, but the Mountain Avenue going south is very busy now with the college, and when that street opens up with the residents going in and out, it's going to be something with these trailers pulling in and out. So I would recommend that it's around into the drive that's off of Edison. But if you do that, then the address doesn't make sense. So they're going to get lost coming around there. That's pretty much all of my comments. I really hope that you guys think about the overall appearance and the overall appropriateness of that facility in that area. Thank you very much.
Mr. Hobbs. Anybody else in the audience wishing to address the council on this issue? Then I will close the public hearing. Any council comments? Mr. Duncan.
Yeah, Nick, has Edison approved this?
It's our understanding that there is a preliminary approval from Edison.
Okay, well, I'm a little bewildered because they wouldn't let us put in an equestrian park at the corner of Mountain and Edison because of the easement for their power lines and the need to get to it in a hurry. What are they going to do when there's a problem with the power lines and they want to get to it, and you've got a building there, you've got all these RVs sitting there? How are they going to get in there and move all this stuff?
Well, my understanding is that, first of all, the site's going to be designed in a way that maximizes their access, but secondly, the terms of the easement would require the owner to vacate the properties or areas of the property that Edison needed access to within a specific amount of time, whether it's 48 or 72 hours. And that would include actually the office, which is a temporary type building. It's actually a chassis that's on wheels that sits in the ground, so it looks like a building, but it can actually be disconnected and removed if necessary by Edison.
Okay, and we would allow that kind of building?
Yes. With a conditional use permit from the Planning Commission.
Any other comments? Mayor Pro Tem Ulloa?
I was going to ask the same thing that Glenn did. We tried many years ago to get an equestrian site on the northeast corner, and Edison said absolutely not. They didn't want anything permanent there. And the only thing that would have been permanent was maybe some tie rails and that kind of stuff. Certainly would not get in their way of the Edison lines, and they refused to cooperate. I find it very interesting and rather hard to believe that they'll cooperate on this RV site. What kind of landscaping are you planning to camouflage this site from the visibility of Edison and Mountain?
That's a really good question. The site approval has to go before the Planning Commission. If the council were to approve the general plan amendment tonight, but the proposed site plan would have the property surrounded by a screen wall, so it'd be a decorative block wall that would be 12 feet high. This would be set back from Mountain and Edison with a large landscape area that would be planted with shrubs and trees and ground cover. So we really did take the aesthetics of this into consideration, since Edison and Mountain are both major thoroughfares in the city.
Well, those vehicles are very tall, Nick, and a 12-foot wall is not going to block the view from Edison or Mountain. So I sympathize with the points that the gentleman brought up when he spoke about that. They will be seen. You can see the RV vehicles that are parked at McBride's right now, all the way from Euclid. And so they will be visible from Edison and Mountain. And keeping in mind that we are still in a drought, we don't want a lot of lush landscaping anywhere. Trees are fine, but you're going to have on-site retention. You're going to have to plan for that kind of thing. So anything that would be intense landscaping that would take a lot of water is definitely not a good idea. But I think there would have to be a lot of work put into trying to figure out how to screen this. I'm personally very troubled by the hypocrisy of Southern California Edison.
They're a utility. What do you expect?
Well,
that's what they do.
You think there's money involved?
Oh, well, it reeks of something. And so for that purpose, and because I think we are going to have traffic problems with these big rigs coming in and out and the traffic on Mountain, I am going to be voting no.
I got a quick comment.
Councilman Howie?
Yeah, obviously, I guess Edison believes that RVs are better than horses from that standpoint.
Well, RVs don't leave
Right,
things on the
exactly.
street.
And the other thing, I think there's like...
What else could it be?
I think there's 300 spaces in this particular project. So if you know anything about RVs, half those will never leave. If they go out once a year, I'd be surprised. You know how RVs parked and never get moved. So from that standpoint, and also the Planning Commission reviewed this carefully and unanimously voted, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have.
Well, I think all the issues that have been raised, like Mr. Ligori said, have to be addressed. Going back to I'm voting yes for that reason. It's got to go back to them, and they've got to figure out some way to landscape it, and they got to figure out the traffic coming in and out, whether it's Mountain or Edison. So I think that it could be a moot point, Councilman Duncan.
Yeah, once again, Nick, if you got 300 motorhomes in there, your chances of finding all those owners and getting them out of there in 48 hours are slim and none. It just isn't going to happen.
That's what they invented tow trucks for.
Yeah, and you got block walls built around it. Those aren't portable. They can't just wheel those out of there, can they? Not that I can think of.
You have to use sky hooks.
I just, I understand tonight we're just voting on the environmental impact report, and that will come back to us, but it just, you're going to have to do a lot of convincing.
Any other comments? I have a motion by Councilman Elrod, seconded by Councilman Howie. Please vote. Item passes 4 yes and 1 nay, that being Mayor Pro Tem Ulloa. Mr. Gutierrez.
Yes, Mayor, this is ordinance number 2015-01. It reads, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Chino, California, amending the East Chino specific plan to allow RV storage as a conditionally permitted use within the Edison easement.
Thank you. Item 13, this is a continued public hearing on development impact fees. Our staff report this evening is by our Assistant City Manager and Director of Public Works, Mr. Jose Hilaire. Mr. Hilaire.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. Before you tonight is staff's recommendation for the revision of our development impact fees and our park fees as well. All categories of DIF, the development impact fees, and the park fees are adjusted based on the McGraw-Hill Construction Cost Index and the Park Land Cost Appraisals. Due to ongoing work on our DIF program, updates to the DIF fees for 2013 and 14 are incorporated into this update before you tonight. The McGraw-Hill Construction Cost Index for both of these years shows an increase of 9% for general construction and 2.8% for building cost. Also, the Sandbag Arterial, or San Bernardino Associated Government, Sandbag, their arterial and interchange program requires a yearly review of their fees as well. The Sandbag Board did not increase fees for these programs for the past 2 years, and that is reflected in our updates as well. The Park Land Appraisal shows that land acquisition cost in the preserve and citywide has gone up. Additionally, park construction costs were increased per the McGraw-Hill Construction Cost Index as well. As a result, park fees for the preserve increased by 12% for both of these years, and the remainder of the city increased by 16.8% for the 2-year period. Now, I just want to add also that this item, as the mayor said, was continued from our December 16th City Council meeting due to a request from the Baldy View chapter of the Building Industry Association, or the BIA. They requested detailed information from us regarding the calculation of our fees, and on December 18th, 2 days later, we scheduled a meeting with them and provided them with the requested information, and no further questions have been received from the BIA to date. Then on December 22nd, the BIA submitted a letter requesting a 12-month grace period for developments that have already been entitled, which staff does not support. So with that, it is staff's recommendation that the City Council conduct the public hearing, find the city's development impact fee program is the most expedient and equitable method for funding the construction of those public facilities needed as a result of future developments, adopt Resolution 2014-064, adjusting the existing citywide and preserve development impact fees and the residential park development fees, and authorize the implementation of these adjusted fees as of March 9th, 2015. That concludes my report on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Hilaire. Prior to council questions or comments, I will open the public hearing. Anybody in the audience wishing to address the council on this item may do so now. Seeing none, I'll close public hearing. Councilman Duncan.
Yeah, Jose, I turned it off. They want to grandfather this for a year, but my understanding is that if somebody has a project in the planning stages, they can come and pay their DIF fees or estimate their DIF fees right now based on what they think they will be, and get the existing rates as long as they do it before March, right?
Yes, if approved tonight, if the project is already entitled, they do have the right to come pay them at any time.
Right, and even if they overestimate it and they pay too much, they would get a refund at the end and get their money back.
That is correct.
Okay, and these development impact fees, we get these by hiring a independent consultant that comes in and looks at the actual cost of providing these services or this infrastructure, and we can't charge any more than what is justified by what the actual costs are, correct?
That is correct, and that is why we escalate the cost on an annual basis by the McGraw-Hill Construction Cost Index.
And we didn't increase them last year, that's why there's a little more impact this year.
That is correct.
And the year before that.
And the year before that.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Elrod?
Can you refresh my memory? Why didn't we just raise them every year like we should?
It's called a recession. They didn't escalate.
Well, recession or not, at least we have
That's the reason we didn't. Because the recession, building almost stopped completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it was that, and we were also working on the major update of the development impact fees, which we entered into an agreement with revenue construction cost specialists that are looking at our existing program. We're adding new projects. We're taking into account all the land use changes that have occurred over the years, and looking at all of that collectively, meeting with the infrastructure committee and getting guidance from the infrastructure committee to put the new program together. So last year at this time, when we considered that, we had just started that process, and we decided let's wait until we get that done, and it's a big task.
When do you think you will be looking at it again? Are we going to do it annually now again, or?
In looking at the work that still needs to be done, we think that we will schedule a meeting with the infrastructure committee at around March to make sure that we've addressed all of the infrastructure committee's comments and concerns, and if that being the case, we move right into implementing that, update to the DIF program. It's a major update.
Okay, great, thank you.
Jose, to be perfectly open about this, some developers don't have an objection to this because they have paid their DIF fees and they're waiting for reimbursements, and they want to make sure that whoever is coming in and building after them pays enough to speed up their reimbursements coming back. Correct?
Correct. There's different points of views from various developers, but a lot of them, have mentioned to us that for example, our water DIF fees are low, our storm drain fees are low, and that's because they've constructed so much of our infrastructure. They're waiting to get reimbursed,
right?
And it's been many years for some of them.
So when a developer comes in, just so the public knows, they may be required to put in a piece of infrastructure and pay for the whole thing, even though their impact might be 40% or 45%. So they don't get reimbursed for that over expenditure until the other developers come in and build their portion and pay their DIF fees. And then the original developer gets reimbursed what they overpaid.
You're absolutely right, and that's until we get the fees into the system and collect them, then we can start managing that and looking at reimbursements to them.
Correct.
Yes.
Well, we also, I represent the city on Sandbag, and the development impact fees we're going to be using here in a couple of years at Central Avenue as we expand it. That's a $60 million job, Jose?
The agreement with Sandbag is a $20 million agreement with approximately, if memory serves right, about $12 million coming from our DIF program.
From our DIFs. So we actually come up with these DIFs to protect our taxpayers so it doesn't come out of our general fund dollars. And a lot of times the guys will pay it, and the work comes down the road maybe a couple, 3 years later, and actually we didn't collect enough because the price of everything keeps going up, like the park fees. So I got a call this afternoon from the representative from the BIA begging me to let them slide one more year, and I said I would take it into consideration after the council report, but he was more or less asking for 3 free years without any increase in the development impact fees. So
it's not responsible.
No, it isn't. I told him we had an obligation to the taxpayers. And I told him, I know you're doing your job, but we got to do ours too. So, Eunice?
And I think also, and I'm sure the building community understands this, although they don't like it, but there is a cost to construct. And we do have to provide infrastructure for our current residents and our future residents. And so it hurts everyone when we don't collect the correct fees. Yep. And while we didn't increase them for 2 years, they got 2 years of a pass. Earl and I both sit on the infrastructure committee, and we went through a lot of heavy thinking about how to handle all this, and it's going to be a big impact for the next several years to try to cover what we know are identified issues are right now, let alone the ones that we don't even know that are coming up yet. So I think we've been more than fair to the building industry.
Well, most of them pony up. But some of them, they go, I don't want to put the roads in. I go, well, get out of my office. And
Without the roads and without the
yeah, I know.
infrastructure, you can't.
Well, I always say, you guys come up from Irvine and Newport Beach, and build all this stuff and leave, and we've got to take care of the sewer, the water, police protection, fire protection. And as they're sitting having cocktails
Staff's
on their yacht
proposal is more than
somewhere.
fair. Staff's proposal is more than fair.
Yeah, I know it is. Any other comments? We have a motion by Councilman Howie, seconded by Councilmember Elrod. Please vote. Our voting machine's a little slow. Got problems, and it passes unanimously. Item 14 under new business has been pulled and is being sent back to staff because the request of Councilmember Elrod. There's some questions on that particular award of contract, so it will be pulled and sent back to staff for as Mr. Elrod looks into it. Item 15, award of contract Ayala Sports Field Lighting Project. Again, our report is by Mr. Allaire. Mr. Allaire.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Included in this year's capital improvement program is the Ayala Park Sports Field Lighting Project in the amount of $820,000. This project will finish the lighting for sports fields 7 through 10, which are located at the south end of Ayala Park adjacent to College Park Avenue. On November 4th, the City Council authorized the issuance of a purchase order to Musco Sports Lighting for the purchase of the sports field poles and the light fixtures for this project. These light fixtures are scheduled to be delivered to us later this month. Now, plans and specifications were then prepared for the installation of these poles and light fixtures, and a notice inviting bids was published on December 4th, and 13 bids were received. The low bid was submitted by Pacific Winds Building Incorporated of Irvine, California. During a review of Pacific Winds bid documents, it was determined that the bidder had improperly listed 2 subcontractors for the same specific trade for the project. Section 41043B of the Public Contract Code specifically states that the prime contractor should only list 1 subcontractor for each portion of the work as defined in the prime contractor's bid. Upon review of the documents by our city attorney's office, staff was told by the city attorneys to reject the low bid because of this issue that was discovered, and that we should move on to the second low bidder. The second low bidder is McKenzie Electric Incorporated of Highland, California, and their bid was in the amount of $129,800. Staff reviewed their contract bid documents, and everything seemed to be in order for us. So in addition to awarding that contract, staff is also requesting $12,918 for contingencies and $6,000 for construction engineering services, bringing the total project cost to $148,780, which is within the overall project budget. So this concludes my report on this item, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Where is this money coming from? Out of what?
It's our building management fund.
Before council questions, anybody in the audience wishing to address the council on this item may do so now. Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Mayor Pro Tem Ulloa.
I just want to thank Jimmy's office for identifying the error in the lowest bid, and I want to thank staff for following up, because now is the time to identify if a contractor isn't completely in compliance with our requirements. So thank you very much for helping us avoid some possible future problems.
And I made an error, Mayor. It was the park fund. I apologize.
I was trying to get you to say development impact fee, and you let me down.
Yeah.
That's where it's coming from. I was going to get you after the meeting. Councilman Duncan, do you have a comment?
Yeah. Some of these were the lights that we actually added on during the budget process, right, Jose?
That is correct.
Said get it all done and, finish it up. Didn't we have a similar problem with the bids on the 2 restrooms that we're putting into there?
Yes, we went out to bid with both projects. Also in this year's CIP is the Ayala Park restrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And for the low bidder, the exact same issue arose. We then moved on to the second low bidder, but because the second low bidder had problems with bonding, we were not able to award it to the second low bidder. Then the third low bidder was was so much more expensive that we'll be bringing that back to council to reject those bids at a future council meeting, probably the very next one in January. And then we need to go back out to bid on that. Because we just came up with some problems and we can't violate public code.
Yeah, these seem like some pretty basic errors in their bidding process. How do companies like this stay in business if they can't follow the code?
Some staff members don't pick up on it.
Yeah, I can't comment on that. I sure wouldn't know.
Okay.
But I do know that this is a new requirement that came into effect January of 2014. So perhaps
So it's-
that's the
So
issue.
it's been in place for a year, though?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Well, we didn't mention it during the staff report, but the underground wiring has been in there underground. That's why it's so inexpensive to put the poles and the lights up, because the staff had the foresight when we expanded the park from 41 acres to 141 acres to go ahead and put the infrastructure down below. So actually, we're getting a pretty good deal.
Did you say inexpensive?
Well, I mean, compared to what it would have been if they had the...
How much was it?
Well, still, I mean, if we would have had to lay the infrastructure, it would have been real ugly.
Yeah.
Councilman Howie.
Yeah, Jose, do we have any more fields that we're not lighting? Or is that just about to take care of all the?
No, we still have.
We still have
five more.
Five more.
But we've got quite a few fields that are lit now for our evening play.
10, right?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I mean, it's a big park with the expansion of all its soccer. Even when our kids used to play out 20 years ago, we were lucky to we only had 4 fields, softball fields lit. And now with all the new fields we have, that park's getting pretty fantastic.
Well, that was when you and Babe Ruth used to coach Little League, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have a Little League.
Did you say 20 years ago?
Our kids didn't know what soccer was.
Better think again.
My kids played soccer 20 years
No,
ago.
mine didn't.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
22 minutes.
I think it's also important to note that originally during the budget, we were looking only to light 2 fields.
Right.
But the council gave direction to light 4, so we appreciate the council funding these additional 2 fields.
I know the youth sports groups would be tickled.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Duncan, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Ulloa. Please vote. Passes unanimously. Item 16, personnel allocation changes. Our staff report this evening is by Debbie Bell, our Deputy Director of Human Resources / Risk Management. Debbie?
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm happy to be here tonight. And I wanted to let you know that the Human Resources staff on a continuous basis throughout the year monitors and evaluates staffing levels, employee workload, and job duties. And doing so allows us to consider identifying and making adjustments that would improve and enhance the quality of service provided to residents, to citizens, and to the business community in the city of Chino. We have tonight before you a number of proposed adjustments that, in our opinion, will implement changes that are projected to increase not only customer service but work efficiency, to provide a more even distribution of the workload, support the retention of valuable, skilled, and knowledgeable employees, and attract highly qualified applicants to continue to provide the service that the community expects. Increased economic activity, as well as the overall demand for certain city-provided services, result in the need to make certain changes at this time rather than later in the year. Each of the identified positions have undergone one or more of the following, either an independent evaluation by a compensation and classification specialist, analysis of internal equity, a classification and compensation study, and an administrative review. Most significantly, this list includes a reorganization of the Community Development Department and minor staffing adjustments in the Public Works, Administration, and Human Resources departments. It's anticipated that the Community Development Department will propose a second phase of reorganization in fiscal year 2015-16 in line with forecasted succession planning. The cost of these proposed changes is not to exceed $129,725 for the remaining of this fiscal year 2014-15. It's our recommendation that Council adopt Resolution 2015-003 that contains all of these proposed changes. And this concludes my report. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. Prior to council comment or questions, I'll open this for public comment. Anybody in the audience wishing to address the council on this item may do so now. Quiet group. I'll close public comment. Any comment? We have a motion by Councilman Howie, seconded by Councilmember Elrod. Please vote. Item passes unanimously. Next, mayor and council reports. Under mayor report, I'd like to give everyone an early reminder to mark your calendar for the 15th annual Run for Russ Memorial 5K Run and Community Walk, starting at 8 a.m. on Saturday, February 7th. Anyone interested can begin registering for this event by visiting racewire.com or by obtaining a registration form. This is a great event that honors the life and memory of fallen police officer Russ Miller, who was tragically killed in line of duty on February 1st, 2000. I can't believe it's that long ago. If you would like more information or would like to receive a registration form, please visit www.chinopoa.org or call 909-334-3087. He was killed by a drunk driver.
Yep.
That was a horrible thing. Left a wife and kids. And, Mayor Pro Tem Ulloa.
Thank you, Mayor. On the 18th of last month, I attended Lieutenant Jeff Allison's Walk of Honor. He retired. What a great guy. He's going to really be missed, but I understand he's going to stay around part-time, so that's good. And he's going to stay involved in the posse. Let's see. Also attended on the 18th the Chino Fair Board's Christmas party that was held at Central Basco, which was very nice. Attended the police department's holiday dinner at the Plains of Fame. That was really fun. It was a great event, like always. And then Isaiah's Rock giveaway on the 21st. This year was just as phenomenal as before. They provided food and gifts to over 1,300 families, over 5,000 kids. The night before the giveaway, they gave away about 100 used bikes that were refurbished by a Boy Scout club. And then the day of the giveaway, there were over 300 pallets of food, 3 refrigerator trucks that had turkeys, chickens, ribs, all kinds of milk products, and 1 whole truck just full of milk. They gave away 175 new bikes, and there were probably all total, putting all of this together and the giveaway day, there was probably over 1,000 volunteers. So Isaiah's Rock, along with Neighborhood House and many of the church groups and nonprofits that help our community, I want to thank everyone. Our community has such a great heart for those that are in need, and that's one of the things that makes Chino and Chino Hills, our area, so very special, because we have such special, caring people. And then I had my second foot surgery on the 30th, so New Year's for us was very quiet.
It's sore.
Yeah, and so I apologize for hobbling around a lot, but it's going to be wild. So that's all my report tonight.
Thank you. I'm sure Councilman Duncan would like to report on his neighborhood house giveaway Christmas too. Councilman Duncan?
Sure. Well, first of all, on the 17th, I attended the All Chino Service Club Christmas lunch, and that's when the Kiwanis, Rotary, Seroptimist, everybody gets together and has a really nice Christmas luncheon together. Food fight, yeah. Actually, we give the microphone to Kevin Sullivan, and it's pretty much over.
That was your first mistake.
Yeah.
Kevin's a sweet.
He really is. On the 18th, I attended the Chino Employee Recognition Luncheon at the Chafee Community Building. Also that day, I attended Jeff Allison's Walk of Honor, which is really an impressive event. And that night, I went on a ride with Santa and a number of police officers, and we were followed through neighborhoods in Chino with the engine from Station 7. That's the fire station on Riverside and Ross. We went by Councilman Elrod's house twice, but apparently he was not on the good list because he didn't come out to see Santa.
You were
But,
making too much noise.
It's pretty amazing. We pulled into the apartment complex that's near you, and you'll see a head peek out from behind a curtain, and then all of a sudden a little kid will show up on one of the front porches, and then parent shows up with him, and they kind of creep down the stairs, and then you get a couple other families, and then all of a sudden you got a mob there of people. And all the time the police are blowing horns and sirens, and the fire department's flashing lights and running their siren. We drive down Riverside Drive, and people they kind of run it like you see a funeral procession go through, where one motor officer will go up to the next intersection and block it off. People would pull over, and adults were out there just waving like crazy to get Santa Claus's attention. And the other thing is, a lot of the adults that came out of apartments and houses and stuff like that, they wanted to get their picture taken with Santa Claus. It wasn't just the kids, it was the adults. So really great event. You freeze yourself, you feel like you're an ice cube when you're done with the event, but it was really a great event. And on the 20th, once again, following our tradition, I picked up hams at Sam's Club at 7 a.m. in the morning, and then along with Councilman Howie and City Manager Ballantyne and Mr. O'Leary wasn't there this year. Mr. O'Leary got a lot of the stuff done ahead of time, but he was out of town with his daughter. So, but we delivered Christmas dinners and toys to about 50 families. That's always a great event. We get about 25 Rotary members out there, and in an hour or so, we're done. We have everything done and on our way, although we had to go back and deliver a couple of baskets because we had somebody that couldn't find houses on F and G Street, which I don't know how you couldn't find them. It was difficult to understand. So we did that. I went to the Chino Police Department Christmas party. Bob, did you figure out what you won?
I re-gifted it.
Did you really?
We gave it back to the PD.
Oh. That was the Sony PlayStation 4, PS4? Yeah.
Ooh, very
Yeah.
nice.
I tried to tell Bob it was a mini cooler. So, on the 22nd, I ran the Chino Neighborhood House Annual Christmas Party. I think this is our 6th year. And we hosted about 600 children and parents. Papa Chino supplied turkey and ham dinners to all and dipped ice cream cones for the kids, and those were really, really popular. All the children received a bag of toys. About 150 families left with brand new bicycles. The Chino Police Department was there all day. They made sure that every child that got a bicycle had a helmet to go along with it. They offered free bicycle registration there. Normally it's $3 to register your bike, so they waived that on that day. They had a couple of police explorers there, I believe, working the table. In fact, I didn't even know we still did bike registration, so that was kind of an eye-opening thing that day. I remember we used to do that when I was a kid and I had a bicycle, but I didn't know we still did it today. The fire department was there all day with different engines. They had the hook and ladder truck there for a while. They helped out a lot of volunteers, just community members. Of course, our board members were there, Kiwanis members, Rotary members, and of course, police and fire. So it was a great day. Santa Claus showed up with a couple of his elves, passed out candy canes to all the kids, and the police department had a motor out front, and they were letting the kids take pictures on the bike. So that was really exciting for the kids. So anyways, and if you go to our Facebook page for Chino Neighborhood House, you'll see a lot more pictures there of a lot of very happy kids. So that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Getting back to Officer or Lieutenant Allison's walk of honor, his wife was crying. So I went up to her and I said, well, what are you crying about? This is a great day. She said, I just realized he's going to be home every day.
Yeah.
Councilman Elrod.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just want to wish everybody a Happy New Year's and it was pretty safe evidently according to our reports and everything, so that's a great deal. I also attended the employee luncheon and Fair Association dinner. We did something different this New Year's Eve. We always have, or I mean Christmas Eve, every member of my family makes one kind of a soup. I think we had 5 this time. And we had 4 of the firemen show up to eat a little bit, and you know, I'm working on Christmas Eve, and it was a great event. The kids' eyes got big, and they walked in, and it was a great event. So the grandkids and everybody had a great time. But that's something I think will continue, police department and fire department, because this, you know, they're working when we're off, and you know, it's a good deal. I think anybody else in the community want to do something like that, I think it would be a great thing to do. So that concludes my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Howie.
Well, last but not least, I also want to wish everybody a happy New Year. Most of the things that I've attended have already been mentioned. The employee luncheon was great as always. I attended my first CDA finance meeting. That was a real treat to check the finances of the Chino DeSalter Authority. And then Jeff Allison's walk, of course, was already mentioned. It was a moving, and it's always exciting to see an officer who puts in 30 years get the kind of accolades and appreciation for all the time he's spent here, and he's left a good legacy. The CPOA dinner was great. We had a good time there. Didn't win the raffle, but hey, you know, that doesn't happen all the time. Also, the Rancho del Chino Rotary breakfast. Now, Glenn said it's really easy to do that, and normally Glenn and I go, but we were short a few people, so I had to kind of take some baskets on my own without Glenn. And the city manager gave me 2, and then I had to pick up 2 more baskets and deliver to 2 more families. Well, the first one was in College Park, which was, you know, we were right here. That was pretty close. Then I drove down to the preserve. So I had to drive all the way down to the preserve to deliver another basket. And then the last 2 were at Francis, Philadelphia, and up at almost town. So I think I drove about 15 miles, and it took me about an hour and a half. But everybody was home, and the kids loved all their presents, and the hams were great, and it worked out well. So I appreciate, Matt, you getting the logistics on my deliveries. But
Yeah.
Also,
Francis in Philadelphia, that would be a pretty good trick.
Well,
no, they're parallel.
All right.
No wonder you got lost.
Was I lost? Ramona.
Okay.
Ramona and Francis. That's whatever. Okay. And then, yeah, you can't get away with anything in this council. And also the Chino Community Services Commission meeting, I attended on the 22nd, which was right a couple days before Christmas. The poor commission had to meet and go over a whole bunch of stuff, but they did a good job. And that's it. That concludes.
Thank you. City Manager.
I have no report.
City Attorney.
I have no report.
Our Chief of Police, Karen Comstock, anything to report?
I have no report.
Our Fire Chief, Chief Shackelford, almost said Comstock. Shackelford, nothing to report? Thank you, sir. Now we will stand adjourned. The next regular meeting of the City Council will be held on Tuesday, January 20th, 2015 at 7 p.m. Closed session at 6 if necessary. Have a good evening.
I should have told them about Sam's Club, right? We go there at 7 o'clock, me and...